sure a lot of people were waiting for me to kind of comment on all the news and stuff that was kind of coming out with Xbox and how I feel about it. And, I sound pretty somber, probably because I am. I mean, we all knew this was coming. We all knew that Halo was going to go to PlayStation, and, we kind of knew that this stuff was happening. But at the same time, I think it really stings now that it has happened, and you kind of see that Microsoft really just doesn't care about the hardware. I think that's a big problem going forward. I hope that something can come from this, or that something good can happen. But I just honestly I don't actually have much hope in that. So a lot of people will probably go, oh well, what do you think about Xbox now? Are you still going to play Xbox? I mean, I still have Xbox in my games and stuff, so kind of cheer it out. But as far as what my plans are for the future, like next generation, I think obviously it's not get an Xbox. If you can get you look at it, you can get a PlayStation and you get all the Xbox and the PlayStation games, and it's probably going to be half the price versus buying an Xbox and getting just the Xbox games and less third-party games. It doesn't make much sense to do that. So again, in general, it's really kind of sickening to see how this has kind of happened the way that it has. So it's not so much like, I know, and I'll get into it. So anyway, like, they did officially announce that the Halo CE campaign only is going to go to PlayStation. And if that wasn't bad enough, like, the Halo community lead was wearing a PlayStation t-shirt, right? Like, to slap the fans in the face even more. Like, I get it, the game's going everywhere. Do you have to, like, rub our faces in it too? You know what I mean? So, speaking during an announcement on the stream in which Halo Studios officially announced the remake of the original Halo campaign for PlayStation 5, as well as Xbox community director Brian Gerard appeared wearing a PlayStation t-shirt and confirmed it was the studio's intention for the series to remain multi-platform. Quote, "It's a huge deal. It's a long time coming. We're just super excited to be able to welcome even more players now into the franchise we love, to fall in love with Halo the same way we all did 24 years ago. As a community guy, I know the Halo community is super excited to welcome their friends in as well. It's just going to mean more Halo for everyone. It's really a new era. Halo is on PlayStation going forward, starting with Halo Campaign Evolved." Damon Kahn, Halo Studios executive producer, called Halo coming to PlayStation an incredible opportunity. Quote, "What we want is for as many fans and players to be able to play the game as possible. To be on Xbox Series X and S, PC, Steam, and PlayStation all at one time is a heck of a way to kick off the 25th anniversary. Halo Campaign Evolved's PS5 announcement represents the most significant moment yet in Xbox's transition to a multi-platform game business. Xbox's shift to a multi-platform at release started in early 2024 when Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer announced just 4 games from its first-party lineup that would be coming to rival platforms: Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. At the time, Spencer claimed that ports were not a change to Xbox's fundamental exclusivity strategy. However, just months later, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella stated that Xbox was starting to reap rewards of its multi-platform strategy, noting that earlier that month Xbox had more games among PlayStation Store's 25 best-selling titles than Sony did. Since then, the floodgates have opened, with numerous other former Xbox console exclusives making their way over to PlayStation, including Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Forza Horizon 5, Gears of War Reloaded, and then earlier, of course, Xbox President Sarah Bond called the idea of exclusives antiquated, despite the fact that that new Pokemon game for Nintendo just sold almost 6 million units, and Ghost of Yotei for PlayStation sold almost 3 million units, and those consoles are flourishing in terms of sales. For Microsoft, taking this game multi-platform is them just really being kind of desperate with this. But here's the thing that really kind of gets me, right? And I know some of you might feel the same way or understand what I'm talking about here. It's just you have these fans, and Xbox knows that they have these fans, and then you just choose to slap them in the face. Like, many of us bought an Xbox this generation because we were promised things. We were promised things and like exclusive games. They've mentioned this numerous times, and I've mentioned this quote. Phil Spencer said, the purchase of Bethesda was so that Game Pass, people that have Game Pass will have exclusive games, and then of course that was a lie, and then all the other lies. And then in February, they sat up there on that stage and said it's just 4 games. It's not an indication of a change in our strategy, blah blah blah. And they knew at that point in time that was a lie, but they said it to us anyway. It's like lying right to your face. Like if you wanted to kick off next generation and go, okay, Xbox Magnus, we're not going to have any exclusive games. Like, okay, then people can make an informed decision as to, what the deal is with whether they want to purchase it or not. The fact that you get people to come in here and buy this platform and buy this console and then basically lie to them and repeatedly, by the way, really just goes to show that they don't care about the fans. They don't care about any of that stuff, and it's like, I know people might go, because I've seen this like on social media, people go, oh well, what's it matter to you? Is it really going to change anything? Is it this or is it that? You can still play your Xbox games. The problem there's numerous problems with this, right, that people don't think about. The first one is, how long will Microsoft support hardware in the future if nobody's buying it? So you look at it, there's estimates now that Xbox is selling only about 120,000 units a month, right? That's less than the Wii U. The Switch, the original Switch, is still selling better than that per month, right? So, what happens next generation when people are going to be able to choose an Xbox that's probably going to be twice as expensive as a PlayStation and only have Xbox games, right? I think it's gonna, like, people are gonna just make the switch to PlayStation, and then how long is Microsoft gonna support hardware? And the thing is, especially with our digital libraries, there's a lot of DRM that people don't realize. So not even talking about multiplayer games, but there's a main server that you have to connect to and get authenticated before you can play games that you've bought, right? Because you're buying just a license. So you have like this large library that can just get totally shut off. That's why there's times when they've had issues with this system, and even if you had a physical game and you try to put it in your Xbox, it'll say, do you own the game, or it won't let you play it. So we're in danger of losing all of our digital games, by the way. And I know some people will go, oh well, the next generation will, it's going to be a PC and you're going to be able to do this and this and this, and they're going to emulate this. And I've mentioned this numerous times, and you guys can look into the legality of it. I'm 100% accurate on this. They're not allowed to emulate games and sell them in their store. So that's why the backwards compatibility program ended for Xbox 360 and original Xbox games, because you have to get licenses for each one of those things if you do that. Now, Microsoft could, in theory, do 2 different hardwares in their next box. One of them native hardware, one of them like a PC hardware. That's sort of what the PlayStation 3 did. The 80 gig PS3 had PS2 hardware built in it, so you could play PS2 games natively off of that. But that was very, very expensive at that time, $600. In 2006. I mean, you're looking at something that would probably cost $1,200, $1,300 from Microsoft at that point. So again, we're kind of stuck in this situation where I just wish that they would have been honest and upfront about people, because when you sell people something, you do have some certain obligations there. It's one of those things where there is an obligation that they had to the fans, and they broke those obligations and they lied to the fans. It's just like, that's kind of how it is. And I get, okay, all companies lie, all companies are kind of crappy, but I do have to say that it just doesn't make sense to like rub it in the faces of the fans by having this guy wear a PlayStation shirt and things like that. And over the past, when the games that they've released that are going to PlayStation that are first party, some of them will be physical only on the PlayStation, right? Like, that's a slap in the face. Or they'll play better on PlayStation, and that's a slap in the face. So it's like, I get it, it's like the end of an era and all that kind of stuff. I just wish that they would treat the fans better and realize kind of what's going on. So I hope that, I don't know, I don't really have much hope out for the Xbox anymore. It doesn't mean that there'll never be good Xbox news. Like, there's still games that you can look forward to. If you have an Xbox, yeah, you're going to be able to play them, but the future is very murky. And as for myself, I definitely won't be getting whatever it is that they have next. That's just something that I can't really kind of fathom. You know, like the whole identity of Xbox was Halo. It sucks that all the big games are now like they've like waved the white flag and kind of given in. I just hope that the platform can survive. You know, I know publishing will survive and they're putting their games on places will survive, but it's like, will the Xbox hardware survive? Like, I think that's a bigger question and something that I think all of us probably won't know the answer to for sure for a couple more years at least. But you know, anyway, let me know what you guys think. How do you guys feel about this? Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.